back to Gilded Gaming and Final Fantasy 14. You think that there was a failed attempt at this? I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, how are Cyberpunk and Lunar treating me? Treating me great. Lunar's a lot of fun. It's just a really, I don't know, it's a cute, simple, just well done JRPG. You know, it's not trying to be anything more than it is, but it's really good at what it's doing. Also, for some reason, the villain wanted to say, "Send in the clowns," like it was like menacing or something, and that would just that was pretty funny. Sorry. You imagine if you get to like X-Death or something, and X-Death's like, "Send in the clowns," and you're like, "Wait, what? Is Kefka coming? What's up?" Anyways, yeah, Cyberpunk. I haven't gotten very far in Cyberpunk, but I'm liking it. It's got its glitches and bugs, but definitely a good game underneath them. I can't wait till they fix all of them. Like, it's gonna be an amazing game underneath them. Let's be clear, actually. It's gonna be one of the best games I've ever played underneath them. They just need to get rid of all the bugs. And they haven't been debilitating yet. We've only had one crash, and most of the bugs are like little visual glitches and stuff. But I would suggest let them clean it up a little bit, especially for playing on a console. If you're on the PC, it's not as bad, I don't think. But anyways, both games are good. Speaking of games I'm playing though, once we finish Lunar, the next one I'm doing is Breath of the Wild. How crazy is that? I'm gonna be doing Breath of the Wild and Final Fantasy Tactics are my next two big ones after Lunar. Desshire is starting Final Fantasy Legend tomorrow. So like the original Saga game, basically. The old Game Boy Final Fantasy Legend. Square Enix released a collection of the first three Saga games, Final Fantasy Legend 1, 2, and 3. On the Switch, and she picked that up, so she's gonna be starting that tomorrow. When she's done with Final Fantasy Legend, she's gonna be doing Final Fantasy 6 and then Final Fantasy 7. I think she might mix them all though. Maybe like Final Fantasy Legend 1, Final Fantasy 6, and Final Fantasy Legend 2, Final Fantasy 7, something like that. Anyways, while she's doing all that, I'll be doing Breath of the Wild, Final Fantasy Tactics, Lunar. Good stuff, good stuff. Lots of good stuff on the way down the pipe. All right, so tonight, our plan tonight for this game, the one we're actually playing, is that we are still in the post A Realm Reborn patch quest territory here. Working our way heavensward. And we just need to keep pushing down that line. We've done the first two major patch quests, right? We did patch 1.2, which was the one where we fought like the King Moogle and all that. We did patch 2.2, which is where we fought Leviathan. All right, so tonight we're going to start out with 2.3, where we're going to be fighting Ramu, depending on the pronunciation. That'll be fun. And then we're going to hopefully push on through that and into doing Snowcloak and fighting Shiva too. And then maybe even past that into the next one. We'll see how much we can get done. Got a full stream tonight. You get your hands on PS5? Yeah. Good luck. I'm sure you'll get one eventually. New Final Fantasy 14 raid group finally beat the new Emerald Weapon Extreme trial yesterday after roughly 6 hours. Oof. First, some people are having some trouble with the new WoW raid too, because the new WoW raid came out I think last week, but I'm not even max level in WoW, so. But Emerald Weapon, oh, Final Fantasy 7 boss, that's cool. Alright, so let's see. We need to go to the Great Divide, which is apparently right over here. Oh, and you're already waiting for me. Look at you. Just hanging out here, huh? Alright, into the Rising Stones with me. And I want to keep talking, but I want to keep the train moving, which I know is going to be a lot of reading too, because these patch quests seem like very, very little like combat. outside the dungeons or trials, they're mostly just walking around and watching cutscenes. They very much just wanted to get some story out, I think. Yeah, it's all set up in world building and foreshadowing for the next patch, or maybe even later, who knows? I mean, the next expansion. Alright. Great Divide. Nymphilea's thoughts keep returning to the fate of the students of Baldessian. Yes! I want to find out more about Baldessian, especially now that I've realized that that's the last name of Galuf and Kryl from Final Fantasy V. It's all set up for Heavensward? Awesome. Hey, Karen Nova, how's it going? Oh, I'm excited. We're going to get through this stuff. Our friend, the very isle itself, everyone and everything. No, it avails us not to speculate. Urianger, right? Urianger will send word if there are any developments. Until such time as he does, we must remain firmly focused on that which is within our power to change. And with that in mind, I would speak on a different matter, one closer to home. It concerns etheric fluctuations which we had previously attributed to the good King Mughal the 12th. That the king is no more is a blessing for which we have you to thank. Yet all is not well in the 12's wood. Our latest readings reveal an ongoing etheric disturbance of considerable magnitude. They may even suggest the presence of a primal. Needless to say, the mere possibility warrants immediate investigation, and I would have you... Basilia, I do not wish to interrupt, but we have a problem. What manner of problem? A band of refugees hailing from Ul'dah, this time have come to Revenant's Toll seeking asylum. It would seem they expect us to afford them the same treatment we gave the Domans. At present, they are in 7th Heaven awaiting a formal response. Also a Final Fantasy VII reference. I see. Mayhap this was to be expected. I shall meet with them at once. Basilia, you know full well we haven't the resources to accommodate many more people. Consider what will happen if you do this. Word will spread and more will follow. Your opinion is duly noted, but I will hear their suit. Elheim, I should be grateful for your presence at this meeting. Alright. Oh, you know what? One sec. I had this, yesterday I was going through old boxes and stuff. And it's not really old. I actually have like the strategy guide for some games, right? And I got this one, which is the one for Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age, right? And I was just going through it because I was trying to remember like what all the summons were in this. I mean, we're gonna get this game eventually. We're not there yet. And I'd forgotten that like the summons in this game, like which I mean, this is Ivalice, right? So it's got like the Ivalice summons, like Belias the Gigas, Mateus the Corrupt, Shimazai the Whisperer, which are like Final Fantasy Tactics demons, right? But they're summons in 12, right? Which is pretty cool. Ashmal, Bringer of Order, Famfrit, the Darkening Cloud. You also see Famfrit in like you know, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance and stuff. Like these are they're like the Lucavi, right? But they're summons now because they don't like try and take you over or anything like they do in Tactics. Adremelik the Wroth, Kukulane the Impure. But then you get to these ones. We've got, let me see if I can get this in here. Chaos, Walker of the Wheel, right? Which is straight up the final boss of Final Fantasy 1. Then you got Zalera, the Death Seraph, right? Which looks a lot like the Dark Cloud, which is the final boss of Final Fantasy 3. Then you got Zeramis, which is just straight up the final boss of Final Fantasy 4 as a summon. Exodus, which sounds a lot like Exdeath, the final boss of Final Fantasy 5, right? And then Ultima, the High Seraph, which is sort of the final boss of Final Fantasy Tactics, and then Zodiark. So I was thinking the other day of where I'd heard of Zodiark before, and this is I think the first time I was really messed with Zodiark is in 12. But good stuff. Anyways, I was just thinking that. It's cool that they have like final bosses as summons. Oh yeah, they definitely named data centers after them too. All right. But I think the first time that those names came up in Final Fantasy lore, the original ones, not the Final Fantasy bosses. I mean, obviously Chaos and Exodus and Zeramis, those are Final Fantasy final bosses. But like a Drimelech and Mateus and all them. I mean, they're like biblical mythology names, but the first time they came up in Final Fantasy was as the Lucavi, the demons that were controlling the church in Final Fantasy Tactics, which is also the first Evil East game, right? That's kind of cool. I just found it interesting that like in Tactics, the whole story revolves around sort of the Lucavi and how they're like controlling these people and stuff. Like they're basically possessed by these demons that are giving them power. But then in Final Fantasy XII, they're just summons. Let's not worry about any of that. They're just summons. Although in Final Fantasy XII, only one character can summon each of them, right? Which is actually pretty cool because, like, if you think about it, when you hit that part of the license board, it blanks it out for everybody else. So only that one character can get Chaos. Only that one character can get a Drimelech, right? Which implies that, much like in Tactics, that you're being possessed by that spirit. Like no one else can use it because it's on you, right? They're just hopefully not trying to take you over or anything and rule the world or whatever. Summon Ultima again. All right, Draggle-tailed refugee. We'll get to Tactics soon. Probably right after Lunar, we're going to be mixing Tactics and Zelda together. So we'll be doing Tactics pretty soon. Either late December, early January, we'll be doing Final Fantasy Tactics, and we'll get into the story of that. It's got a great story. I apologize for keeping you waiting. My name is Minfilia, and I lead the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. 12 be praised, it is you! Who are these guys? We're ready and willing to work, same as the Domans. Just give us a task and we'll see it done. Pray calm yourselves. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I know not of your situation. Beg your pardon, antecedent. I ain't so good with words. We've been living off scraps of Ul'dah for years now, trying to piece together a life to replace the one that got took. Are these more Alamegan refugees? They say there's work, but there's not for an honest man. Not as wouldn't sully his soul sooner than his palms any road. The flames do what they can for us, of course, but ain't near enough. And only getting worse. When the calamity brought us to our knees, those rich bastards in the city didn't help us up. They climbed on our backs. I don't pretend to be clever, but even I can see what's coming. I knew we had to run. The only question was where, and then it came to me. Revenant's Toll. I mean, you took them foreigners in, didn't you? So surely you'd do the same for us. I fear the situation is rather more complicated. While it is true that we accepted the Doman's petition for aid, the decision was the product of extraordinary circumstances. I sympathize deeply with your plight, but pray understand that this is not possible for an organization of our means to aid all that have been affected by the calamity. And so it is with great regret that I must deny your request. But we've nowhere else to go. You're turning your back on us? If I might have a word. Itaru, is aught amiss? Ill tidings from Ul'dah, my lady. Alphinaud has been wounded. What? How? Is it serious? I cannot say for certain, but I fear it might be. According to the flames, the refugees started a riot. They went wild, apparently lashing out at any and everyone. That can't be right. Why would they? They must have been provoked. The demonstration was meant to be peaceful. Seven hells, now the Blades will have an excuse. They'll round us up and kill anyone who tries to resist. Antecedent, please. If you won't help us build a new life, at least help us keep the ones we've got. My lady. We are not ones to stand idly by and watch innocents suffer. However, until we know more of the circumstances surrounding this riot, I am not certain what aid, if any, we can provide. If the authorities determine that the refugees attacked without provocation, even those responsible will have to answer for their actions. How can you be so blind? Find Alphanodin quickly. If he's in danger or worse, I would have you and none other by his side. Thank you. Pray do not concern yourself with the matter we were discussing earlier. Ida and Papa Lima will see to it. Alphanod will be treated at the Hourglass. Hurry, Elheim. Alright, so it's like, yeah, forget about the whole Rama thing. We'll get back to that. Don't worry. Hopefully not long. Alright, so we gotta go check on Alphanod. He's been old on. He's been injured. Do we have enough? How many? Got 122 poetics at the moment. I don't think that's probably not enough to get any more armor pieces. We're doing okay with our armor at the moment. We're at 108. Not bad. I think that's good enough to get us everywhere we need to go as far as the main quest. I don't think there's any dungeons that are barred to us at this point. Let's see, click on these people. Oh, okay. You okay? Alright, go on, bud. Okay. Just gonna check this out real quick. Oh my god. 1 second. My son's been playing Breath of the Wild. This is the reason I can't play it until after Christmas. He'll get his own after Christmas, but for now he's been using mine, so he'd just overwrite my save file or something by accident, you know? Alright. I want to check this out real quick. Yeah. We don't have enough for anything. Even the belt's 280. Alright. Main story quest reward 110 gear. Alright, cool. Yeah, we'll be fine. Alright, Gilded. Where's our teleport at right now? Yeah, sweet. Man, we're already level 54. And we still have like, what? 2.3, 4, 5, and 5.5 to go. Like, we're gonna be like max level for the expansion before we get to the dang expansion at this rate. Where am I going? Is he over at the... Yeah, okay. He's over at the Adventurers Guild. I don't think I'll do much fighting at all, but we're going to be doing like 2 or 3 dungeons, 2 or 3 trials, and a whole bunch of quests, and all the quests do give experience.
Come, you must have gathered by now that Tataru is given to exaggeration. As you can see, I am quite well.
He doesn't seem injured at all.
Gilded, on the other hand, is not. This riot was anything but an isolated incident.
The quests don't give much. That's good. Honestly, I don't want to level anymore before it.
There is a restlessness in the air. Tensions long simmering are at last threatening to boil over.
Although, actually, might as well level as much as we want. When we get to that city, Ishgard, when we get to Ishgard, I'm planning on getting like Dark Knight, so we'll be switching our level anyways.
Gilded is a nation infamous for the great disparity between the wealthy and the poor. The majority of the populace accepts this state of affairs because they believe that every man bears responsibility for his own lot in life. To an Gilded, money is the foremost, and some would say the only measure of a man's worth. Small wonder that the wealthiest wield the greatest influence. So where do the refugees fit into this social hierarchy? What place is there for those who fled Alamigo and the destruction of the Calamity? Plainly, there is none. They have no wealth, no power, and no worth. To the Gilded way of thinking, they may as well not exist. Choosing to ignore their existence, however, is patently not an option. General Reborn and the Sultana understand this, which is why they ordered the Immortal Flames to provide the refugees aid and succor. Yet none would dispute that the expenses incurred by this policy grow by the day, with no end in sight. This has prompted more and more Uldans to question their obligation to aid these worthless wanderers, while more and more refugees have come to resent their treatment at the hands of the sneering citizenry. The manner of Lord Lolorito's refusal to grant the Dolmens asylum bespoke a disdain for all refugees, an attitude shared by the rest of the monetarists. And you may be sure they make no effort to conceal their opinions. It was only a matter of time before the refugees united in protest, nor is it any surprise that some among them would ultimately resort to violence. That the Immortal Flames should choose this of all occasions to engage in joint training exercises with the other Grand Companies. By the time they return, the situation may well have deteriorated beyond mending.
A holiday event? Nice. Alright, earrings. We don't care. Right. One quest down. Let's keep moving. As I told you before, it was all but inevitable that an incident of this kind would eventually occur given the rising tensions with the Sultanate. Nevertheless, I have reason to believe that this particular riot may not have begun spontaneously. If I piqued your curiosity, good. Then you will accompany me to the Hall of the Flames. I would hear what General Reborn has to say upon the matter. Okay. Desperate times. Okay. Oh, is this not where I was supposed to go? Oops. Where's he at? Okay, he's over there. Oh. Okay, there it goes. He was taking his sweet time there. Now is not a good time, Private Gilded. My hands are full dealing with refugees. Precisely the matter we wish to discuss, General. Alphinaud, back on your feet already. You may credit my swift recovery to your chirurgeons. My memories of a riot are still somewhat muddled. I trust you managed to regain control of the situation. Not entirely. We secured the city soon enough, but not before the unrest had spread to the surrounding territories. Pockets of resistance remain throughout Thanalan. We've sent what forces we can spare to root out the last of the belligerents, but the process is slow and they are damnable elusive. Well, I can imagine, given that the majority of the refugees live outside the walls, it stands to reason they would know the lay of the land. What I do not understand is how they came to be so well prepared. Before my little incident, I observed that several of the refugees were armed, not with butcher's knives or pitchforks, but with martial weaponry. I need hardly add that such equipment is costly. None can deny that the tensions between the Uldan citizenry and the refugee population have increased since the Dolmens are turned away. Would that motivate a starving man to purchase arms in lieu of food? I think not. And what of those who are not even a single guild to spend? Could not survive without the aid provided by the immortal flames. Surely they would sooner sell a weapon than bring it to bear against their benefactors. Come to the point. Very well, my point, General, is that this powder keg of discontent was not set alight by chance. These events were deliberately set in motion, and now order must be restored. That is my first duty. Until it is done, any investigation can wait. I do not have time to discuss this. My scouts will be returning soon. The general is no fool. He keeps his own counsel, and with good cause. Were he to claim without the necessary proof that these riots were instigated by outside forces, the Monetaris would accuse him of attempting to shirk responsibility. After all, he and the Sultana have been the most outspoken proponents of the refugee aid. Regardless, he will face harsh criticism in the days ahead. Our allies may stumble upon the truth in time, but I have far more faith in your abilities, Elheim. Therefore, I propose we conduct our own investigation, independent of authorities. To that end, I would have you make inquiries of the settlements suspected of harboring belligerents. Commander Swift will know which they are. He may balk at a request for such information, but I have no doubt that you can persuade him with your silver tongue. I, meanwhile, shall seek answers in my own way, after which we can regroup and share our findings. Well then, shall we? Alright. This is all just like set up for a later patch quest. They're just like really building up the whole Ul'dan issues. You look as though you have something to say, probably Gilded, do you? What you ask is no simple favor. Were such information to fall into the wrong hands, the lives of countless soldiers would be at risk. Even so, there is wisdom in your words. An able individual, even one with ties to the flames, may be better suited for the task than a regiment. Very well. The Brass Blades have reported suspicious activity in the vicinity of the Lost Hope. It may be unrelated to recent events, but we doubt it. I suggest you begin speaking with the Blades posted there. Look at this person. Look at this. You know, all these levels at once. Alright. The Lost Hope. So you guys like Dune? Like the books, the movies, any of that? I ask because the new Dune movie's coming out like Friday. You read the book in the English class once? Gotcha. Alright, let's try Lothric. I didn't expect them to send you, Elheim. I take it this means someone has read my report. The refugees who left the merchant have yet to return, and I am increasingly concerned that Zazawaka's suspicions were correct. You haven't the foggiest what I'm talking about, do you? Never mind. Speak with Zazawaka, he will explain everything. I'm a Virgo. You haven't read the sequels or watched the movies? Well, the new movie that they just made is coming out in theaters and on HBO Max Friday. I'm gonna check that out. And I think next week, The Matrix 4 is coming out. Warner Brothers is putting all their movies in theaters and also on HBO Max. So you can just watch them instantly at home, which is kind of cool. So yeah, it's like Dune this Friday, and then next week is Matrix 4. It's like new movies. And the new Wonder Woman movie's gonna be on there at some point. What brings you here, adventurer? A search for refugees? Well, then you've come to the right place. Oh, you mean those refugees? No, you won't find them here. Most of the people of Lost Hope have come to accept their situation and are content to pass their days in peace and quiet. Outsiders have trouble understanding that. Like that merchant who passed through recently. Gregarious fellow, but awfully opinionated. I can't say I was sad to see him go. Merchant, huh? Interesting. Okay. Here's Azawaka. Don't hurt me. I'm not one of them. I beg your pardon. You're the flames, but you're not. You're of the flames, but you're not with the flames? I see. If Leofric bids you see me, then I take it you've agreed to help. Troll be praised for that, because we haven't a moment to waste. Everyone knows the flames are on the march. The others have fallen under the fanatic's spell, but not I. Promises of revolution and retribution, of holding the ruling class to account and taking that which is owed? A childish fantasy. I did everything I could to dissuade the others from leaving, but few would heed my words, and now that one of our idealists has returned, however, the madness of the merchant's plan is plain for all to see. Look behind yonder tent and you'll understand why. Even now he babbles incoherently, so traumatized is he by the bloodshed he witnessed. Try as I might, I can make little sense of his words, beyond the fact that he was not alone in surviving. Yet I've no doubt the merchant will lead the remainder to their doom. I beg you, find them before he does. So the merchant came in with the weapons and convinced them all to fight. What are you doing? Don't draw! Don't draw! Don't draw! Don't draw! Don't draw! Why didn't you run away with me? We could have escaped together, then you'd be here with me. Here to soothe me. Why did you have to stay and leave me alone? Alright. You're there. Who are you? What do you want? It's true, I followed the merchant, and may God strike me down for my folly. What they will not give, you must take, he said. When we asked how, he revealed a cache of weapons he had brought and implored us to seize control of our fates. I thought about running then and there, but the others were so excited, he split us into 2 groups and sent us off on our own. But when the flames found us, we didn't know what to do. Our leader tried to parley with theirs, then they started arguing and then fighting, and then everyone was fighting, and the flames were shouting to give no quarter, and... Oh God, it's the other group. They're still out there. If we don't stop them, they'll be massacred like mine was. Damn. See, knocked. Looks good. Alright, shock and awe. The other refugees are hiding in the caves south of Lost Hope, but to approach them would be fruitless. They would sooner call us agents of the Sultanate than try to kill us than listen to reason. Why, the twins might even deign to do the deed themselves. A pox on all bloody sellswords. They're supposed to train us to fight, but the ones he sent with us vanished during the struggle. If only you'd ever listened to the merchant's ridiculous claims. He said our cause was righteous and the gods would never suffer us to be defeated. Though if we were forced to confront reality, that's it. Challenge the twins to combat. Show my brethren that their strongest warriors are no match for one woman. Mayhap then they would agree to lay down their arms and renounce this plot. I don't remember the exact details of this quest, but I would assume that this merchant is actually working like for Lolorito or the Monetarists or something to set up these guys to fail and then give them a reason to hate them even more. Alright, so where are we? Down here, okay. Seven hells, they found us. Everyone grab your gear and make for the rendezvous point. So that's your game, is it? Sorry to disappoint you last, but we're more than willing to kill you ourselves. Oh, dumb people. Right? I think I got charge. I feel like I'm lagging or something. Anything else? No? Good. When you ring on. Alright. Yeah, everything's taking like a second after I actually click it. You beat them like it was nothing. Oh, almighty, what are we gonna do now? Come on. What's wrong with the game tonight? There it goes. Weird. Everything's like taking a second to do anything. Am I about to get disconnected? No, I'm not getting on my chocobo. I think I might have gotten disconnected. The stream's doing okay. It's not my internet. Yeah, the chocobo's not happening. Alright, let's log out and log back in maybe. If I can. Yeah, connection server lost. Are you still connected? It's not the server itself, right? It's not properly logged out or is currently logged in on another client. Damn. I gotta wait a second. My character to officially actually log out. Shared our armor. It's been pretty sweet. You can tell which pieces are still left over from the warrior gear because they're red, right? Like my gloves, my helmet, my legs here. Alright, back in the queue. Yeah, I was noticing issues for like a little bit, but it just got worse and worse until it kicked me off. It says connection poor. I'm having trouble connecting to the world server, I guess, right now, for some reason. That's not what you want to see on Final Fantasy XIV night, man. Hopefully it gets better. Format it up. Where are we going, actually? We need to go back up there. No, it's still taking a while. I can't get off my chocobo or talk to this guy right now. Crap! Well? Yeah, it must be an issue between my location and the server. Maybe this is going to be a World of Warcraft night instead, or more lunar. I don't know. Maybe we take a break, play some lunar, come back and try again. Maybe the connection will have fixed itself. I can't play right now. Like, even if I want, I want to, but I literally can't. So, unfortunate. But you know what? We will work around it. All right. Yeah, I can't think of anything I can do to keep playing 14 right now. Yeah, connection lost again. The bad thing about continuing Lunar is that people that are watching Lunar aren't expecting me to be back to Lunar until Friday, so they'd miss it. Alright, well. We'll be back. I'm gonna switch games. Right back.